Professor Algorythm.
Spirituality is much like an algorithm. Not necessarily the best known, most travelled sequence of orders, instructions, but put together based on experience, long-term experience, and have become the forms of words, sentences, laws, injunctions, procedures, ways, norms, cultures, etiquette, the entire family of substrata that sustain social life come from these sets of coordinates. Some are unique and esoteric or exotic, and they take on the form in this greater structure as being mysterious, mystical, or spiritual. But in fact, they're in many ways like forgotten paths, overgrown routes through the back garden until the park. Ways which are clear for someone that knows, and it requires an assertion of them to be made and put together, for them to be re-established and reused and perhaps reconstructed, repaved, to be made into bike trails or electric bike trails or zone or drone landers. The method of communicating between these sets of logics can be different. It is much like the relationship between words and sentences and the actions of somebody else. One speaks and the other person understands and will do something as a result of that speech. So the conception that one person has and for their cooperation and what one says are completely different. They exist in different worlds. One is of a plan or of imagination for necessity. Another one is a set of structures of commands to how to say it. The other one is how to listen to it and then to reconstruct it in another completely different reality on the other side with different people, even the other side of the world, because it can be done through telephone. And that then would require another set of structures, which is digital. And these, in fact, are just algorithms, sets and series. These algorithms are often come to the expression usually via sound and via hearing. And they are often read through the eyes, through sight. So there is a dance, a coordinated relationship, obviously through the millions of years of human evolution between hearing and seeing, and the structures which come out of the hearing function are long-term civilizational and creative structures, whilst the ones that result from the eye are usually short-term, strategic, technical, observational, short-term. And the combination of these two together form the great sonar of and instrument of the human brain. There is one component to spirituality which has not been emphasized, but it has always been in the back picture of the religious story, and that is the story of the angels. This curious class of existence, which is a interphase between reality and divinity, between the explained and the unexplainable. And if one looks at the intellectual heritage of our ancestors, what the angels truly meant, we look at the root word of the word in Hebrew, malach, which possibly is either a 4-letter root or two-letter roots. And if it is a two-letter root, then the roots would be mal and ach, malach, to make the name for angel, a mal, which seems like it is the basis of the word milah, word, is also the same as the term for circumcision, the covenant of milah, the covenant of either word or to cut, to artificially operate, to a surgical intervention, a cutting, an unfolding, a intervention on the biological being using artificial tools such as a knife. This intervention and this relationship between different types of spiritualities, or the relationship between different types of beings, the artificial being of the intervention of a knife, of surgery, of technology, of meterage, of a external creativity which is not biological, with biological features such as hearing and sight, and the logicization of it through a algorithm connecting two structures which really cannot cooperate, cannot maneuver together, because there is no space, there is no axes for them to maneuver. But through a process of construction in infinity, using these shadows and reflections and non-substantiated and really not connected components of reality, which are words, a cascade and a scaffolding of energy creates a pathway for a reality to flush through. And so one sees the relationship between instruments and biology is at the very core of human consciousness. And so it is not for us to reject instruments and machinery and the age which is upon us, but for us to learn how to synchronize and synthesize and celebrate it within and as a part of the human condition, just as the circumcision on our flesh.